for listening. Okay, I got info LQ. I think it was Greg in there, down in Newmarket. And then OUM and NKM so far. Anybody else, over? I guess not. Good morning, Steve. Man, you got a big signal over here this morning. 54 degrees and still looks like it's partly cloudy out there. I don't know if we got any rain last night or not. I don't think we did, but we sure need some bad. Anyway, how's everything down in Shelby, Steve? And you turn it over to Greg. Greg turns it to Brother Terry, and Terry, you turn it over to Larry up there. N4LQ, K4YBC.
K4YBC, N4LQ. Well, you should be wet up there, because I'm seeing radar rain all the way up that way to almost to Asheville and to Hickory. So you should be getting wet. It's rained here all morning, and it's not much, but it's steady. It's probably 1/8 of an inch. I looked at the rain gauge, and I am not going to complain. I am happy to see it. And I don't think Greg is going to be able to report any rain. At least I'm looking at the radar. It looks like it's dry in Tennessee. What about it, Greg? KF4DRN, N4LQ.
N4LQ is KF4DRN. I haven't got any rain here where I'm at. Not yet, anyway. It looks a little cloudy out there. We may get rain before the day's out. I don't know, really. Haven't heard the forecast, so it's hard to tell about the weather sometimes. 54 degrees here, and everybody's sounding good so far. Hope I'm sounding okay. WD4OUM, KF4DRN. Go ahead, Terry.
WD4OUM. Well, good morning, fellas. Well, we ain't got no rain, got plenty of clouds. But I sure wished it'd rain. I don't want to see no fire in them mountains. Anyway, goodness, Larry, you got up before breakfast again this morning. What's the world coming to? Or did you just get kicked out of bed? WB4NKM, WD4OUM.
Yeah, WD4OUM. WB4NKM. Well, good morning, everybody. Good signals up here, and we've got 54 degrees. Overcast. Looks like it's going to pour down rain, but nothing on the back porch. I looked. Looks like it could any time, though. We're hungry. Got up, woke up by the hunger this morning, Terry. That's about it. I got my breakfast laid out there. Warming up. Keep pulling them eggs in that cold pan with cold eggs and stuff. You got to let them set out to room temperature. That won't take too long. K4YBC,
WB4NKM.
Okay, Cliff, recognizing you, and you're on the tail end of the list, so go ahead and then turn it back to me, Cliff, over.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. No rain here. We hadn't had any rain, just a sprinkle or two in 2 weeks, I guess, so getting real dry. not mowing much grass. The only good part, I guess. We got 58 degrees, a little warmer here this morning, and cloudy. I don't know. I didn't look at the forecast. Don't know if they're calling for any rain or not. But, man, it's good shape. Everybody's just sounding good, Greg. You're good signal this morning. Wonder if you're running the amp or no amp. You don't need it if you're not. Go ahead, Cuz. K4YBC, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL, K4YBC. Okay, and Steve, I just did get up and look out the window, and yeah, we've had a little rain up here. It's not raining right now, but I noticed we keep one car in the carport, and then mine has to sit out in the weather, and it's good and wet, so that's good. We got a little rain anyway. Not much else going on here. I'm just trying to think. Nothing that I can think of, so down to you, Steve. N4LQ K4YBC.
WK4.
Okay, Rick. You go after Cliff, NKL. And yeah, I fired up the Heathkit DX60 this morning, and it's feeling pretty frisky, I guess. Hope it sounds okay. Well, I don't know, cuz I think there's some yellow mixed in with the green, and I think it's going to vary from a light rain to a drizzle to spitting rain and then nothing. But at least you'll get your grass wet, and I'm hoping my ryegrass will decide to sprout now that it's been sitting there for almost a month. I got out there in the azaleas yesterday trying to clean out the English ivy. Boy, that stuff had a stranglehold on it, and you talk about a job. You just about have to get down on your hands and knees to get it out of there. And I've been looking at that for about 4 years now, thinking I need to do something, and I finally decided to tackle the azaleas versus the English ivy situation. And I started spraying Roundup on the ivy, and for some reason the azaleas seemed to like it, so they started blooming and the ivy started dying. Over to you, Greg, KN4DRN, N4LQ.
4LL. KN4DRN. Great. Good morning, everybody. I didn't say good morning a while ago, so hope everybody's doing okay this morning. Everybody's sounding good so far on my end. So anyway, I hope we'll get some rain. We need it. It's really dry here where I'm at. So anyway, I'll pass it along to Terry. Go ahead, Terry. KF4DRN group.
WD4OUN. Well, good morning, Cliff, Rick, and Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave, you come after Rick and turn it back to my buzzing cousin over. But, anyway. Well, just ain't a whole lot going on in Burbank this morning. I need to get out there and do some kind of rain dance or something. But oh well. Just ain't got a whole lot here this morning. And Larry, laying your cackleberries out so they'll warm up to room temperature. before you put them in a skillet. Never heard of that. Don't understand what difference it makes. But anyway, hey, how about putting one or two in the microwave? Put that thing on about 6 minutes to see what happens. Just out of curiosity, let me know. WB4NKM, WD4OUM, K4JL.
WD4OUM, WB4NKM. Okay. I'll ask the wife if I can do that. I have to run that stuff by her, all them new things, you know. I'll tell her that you advised me that. That'd be all right. Good morning to Cliff. Good morning to Rick, and good morning, Dave. Hear you good up here. You fellers are all doing good. And I heard Jimmy check in there, so. Good morning, Jimmy. And I've got something to do this morning that don't do often. The cable, both cables come loose on my garage door. One of the garage doors. So it don't want to go up and down anymore. I've got her, and I think that spring lost its tension up there. Never have done that before. So maybe somebody can enlighten me on the putting cables and restringing that and winding the spring up, whatever you have to do. Hadn't figured it out yet. Just when I turned and looked at it, and I finally got the door back down, but I didn't attempt to do it as after dark. WB4NKL, WB4NKM.
WB4NKM, WB4NKL. I'm not sure which top door you got. Have you got the one that's got the spring rolled up across the top, or you got the one that's got the springs by the side? You can see you hanging out there on cables, right? I wouldn't know why that spring would change if it's one of them that goes across the top, unless it's broke or something. I've wound those up. You got to have a couple iron bars that fits in the end and sort of walk the tension up on them. But like I say, I don't know why it would have changed. Good morning to everybody. Rest of the crew. Heard Jimmy come in there. He come after Dave. Still working on the command transmitter here. I think I'm about got ready to try out on the air. Figured out how to get the mic sensitivity up. They designed those things to be used in a World War II aircraft, so they didn't want any mic sensitivity. I think they wanted them where you had to shout in the mic, to get above the engine noise. But I did a little mod in there. I've got the sensitivity up. They patted it down with some resistors, and now I've got it to where just a regular dynamic mic's driving it to about 120% positive modulation after doing a few mods. So about ready to get all the clip leads out of it, about ready to put it on the air, give it a test, see what it sounds like. So let's see, I was turning it to Rick this time, I guess. Go ahead, Rick. WK4R, WB4NKL.
WK4R. Well, not much to say. Good morning, everybody. Looks like it might have rained. Everything's wet outside, I reckon. Look at the map. It should be passing us by now, I guess. I don't know if Tennessee got any. I wasn't listening at the moment, but anyway. And you're trying to scrounge up paperwork to pay property taxes for the year. Joy. That's one of my favorite things to do, I reckon. Well, anyway, whose turn is it? WA4LLR, WK4R.
WK4R in the group. WA4LLR, good morning, everybody. 50 degrees, some fog and clouds. It looks like we got 14/100ths of an inch of rain and a little shower last night. So it dampened things a bit. We still need a lot more. This rain's been scarce around here for a while. Everybody's sounding pretty good this morning. Cliff, looking forward to hearing the command transmitter. Years ago I used to run one on CW, but I've never tried one on AM. I know Earl down in South Carolina used to run a command set, and he sounded good with his. I don't know if he was running a carbon mic or if he was running something else, but boy, he used to sound really fine on that setup he had. So looking forward to hearing it. Start my outpatient physical therapy this afternoon. Boy, I'm looking forward to that one. Anyway, I'm glad to be making the progress that I am. So let's see. Let me give it over to my good friend and neighbor, Mr. Jimmy. K4JAL.
WA4LLR, K4JAL. Well, everybody's sounding good today. Propagation's great. That's the way it ought to stay. I'm running barefoot on the Mighty LMAC. It's going to have to do. So there you go. I'll give it over, I think, to Terry, WD4OUM. Here it comes, Terry, K4JAL.
I don't want it.
I believe it goes back to me. Good morning, Jimmy. You're at the tail end of the list, Jimmy, so you turn it back to me. And, yeah, the Mighty LMAC sounds good, Jimmy. Sounds real good. And, Cliff, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that old command set. I remember way back in the day. Tell my age, I think you heard a lot of those old command sets on the air. 90% of them were, CW novice rigs, but novices used them a lot. But I remember working a lot of stations that's using the old command sets. So, and of course, back in those days, you could buy a brand new one for what, $10 or something. All old war surplus rigs and everything. What was it? Fair Radio up in Ohio, I believe it was. They were the primary supplier of war surplus rigs, I think. So, anyhow, looking forward to hearing. And yeah, we got a little rain. I've been exploring outside, Steve, and yeah, we definitely got a little rain. So, and we sure needed it because we hadn't got any real rain, I don't know, in 14, 15, 16 days or something, probably. So maybe with this little rain and everything, it'll help the trees to change and everything. I think this weekend's supposed to be the peak on the leaves, I think, so I don't know, but that's what the professor up at Appalachian State College says. Anyway, N4LQ, K4YBC, and by the way, Steve, the little Heathkit sounds great. Man, that's a good sounding little rig. Go ahead, Steve, over.
K4YBC, N4LQ. Well, thank you. Glad it's working okay. Let's see, Larry, your garage door thing reminded me of what happened to us a couple of years ago. Our garage door has the torsion springs, which means they go across the top of the door, and they put two of them up there, and one on one side, one on the other, and they have to be balanced. When one breaks, usually one breaks and the other one doesn't, it causes the door to get cockeyed, and it doesn't want to go up very easy, but it can be done if you lift one side, but it takes a lot of force because they're heavy. and I wasn't able to do it myself, so I couldn't get the cars out, and we had dental appointments, and I was desperate, so I called a garage door guy and told him what was going on. We had about an hour to get out of there. Well, he came right out, and he got us out of the garage, and we went ahead and left, and he put both springs in, because he said you never just replace one of them. And that's quite a job. It's something that the average homeowner would not want to tackle. It's dangerous, and it's pretty critical. So, and the other type, I don't know what they call them, the old ones with the spring on each side, going back to the end of the rails on each side. That's pretty obvious. You know, there should be a cable going through those so they don't fall down when they break. But that's the older style, and I'm not sure what they call those. And Cliff, I'm anxious to hear that command set. So give me a jingle when you want to try it. Text me or something, and if you got my phone number, you can text me, and I'll get on the air. So Greg, take it away. KN4DRN, N4LQ.
N4LQ, KN4DRN, yeah, Cliff, when you get that command set going, you can give me a ring either one there. I'll check it out with you. Anyway, maybe get it going before too long. Anyway, I guess I'll listen around. I guess I'll say 7-3 on this one, and I'll listen around, but for a little while. Got things got to do, so good to hear everybody this morning. Hope everybody has a good day and everything. I'll say 7-3, KF4DRN.
WD4OUM. Hey, Cliff, you get that command set going. Don't bother to call me. I don't want to hear the flipping thing. I got enough problems. Oh well. And you mentioned jumpers there a while ago. That reminded me of old Doug. You know, back when we had them Zoom meetings, he'd show a mess there on the table and have about 15 jumpers. Oh, all over everything. He used to crack me up. I miss aggravating. I miss him getting in here. Come on, how about that? Oh well. And what's the matter with you, Larry? Man up. Good gosh. You know, it's just an egg and a microwave. Slap one in there and sock it to it. And you just like some of these other fellers, especially old Leroy. He's always into something. Every time his wife catches him, you know, he tells her that it's all my fault. So I don't care, you know, whatever. Anyway, WB4NKM, WD4OUM.
WD4OUM, WB4NKM. Yeah. Well, we've been getting along like that for a while. Might as well go the rest of the way. Putting the egg in there, though, would be rough on me. The first thing she'd say is, who told you to do that? And right there, I'd have to mind to protect you. You know. Thanks, Cliff, for the info. You and Steve both. How about halfway decided just to call the man. Like that freezer that went out with Aunt B on Andy. She kept telling Andy, Andy kept telling Aunt B to call the man. And she didn't, and got in trouble. So on this right here, when Steve said it's dangerous, that might be the best advice right there. I'll just call the man. WB4NKL. WB4NKM.
Yeah, WB4NKM. WB4NKL, getting closer to on frequency. Yeah, it can be dangerous. I put up these doors here to my building and used those torsion springs, and I can see several ways you could get slammed pretty good there. You got to take. I had to make some high fence bars to fit in these holes in the ends, and you wind them up. But I can see if you mislick there a little bit and let that slip, sling that bar and hit you in the head, you'd be in trouble. But yeah, like I say, I put up these two, and I put openers on. Of course, I didn't have to wind the springs, but I put openers on in the new building. But yeah, you'd probably be better call the man. Yeah, I'll have to get a little more work to do on the command set. I don't have room for a receiver over there right now. It's spread out plumb across one of the workbenches with jumper leads. So I need to get rid of some of the jumpers. I think transmitter's ready to put the covers on, but the modulator I've got a little bit more work to do on. Had to build a 24 volt DC and 600 volt high voltage supply. Built that, and had to make jumpers go between the three chassis, modulator chassis, a separate chassis. But I think it's going to work. It looks good on the meters. That's all I can say. I don't know exactly how to sound on the air. Just listening to myself, I think it sounded pretty good. So I'll get that thing sort of straightened up and on another bench. Puts out about 10 watts. The carrier, about all you can get out of it with good looking modulation. And that's another thing. The way it's stock, it put out about 20 watts, but the modulation was terrible on the positive side, so I had to change the voltage regulator tube. They got it regulated. On 150 volts, put a 75 volt regulator tube in there, and that brought it down to where the carrier dropped down. The modulation looks a lot better. I don't guess they had all them modulation meters and stuff back when they designed it. I don't know. I don't see how it could have sounded all that good in its original form. But it was designed, like I say, to go in a noisy environment. So probably did what they wanted it to do. They made enough of them. Go ahead, Rick. WK4R is WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WK4R. I am not familiar with the command set. Did a little quick search and Google might have misled me. Looks something like an ARC-V, according to one I saw, but somebody will have to enlighten me. And the egg in the microwave. Terry, why don't you video that for us? I never seen a door blow off a microwave before. Seen a lot of arcing in them, but you know. And Cliff, Doug never got rid of his jumpers, at least for a long time anyway, so I don't know why you should be in a hurry. You ought to be able to talk on it like it is. He did. I'm surprised he didn't electrocute himself, but anyway. WA4LR, WK4.
WK4R and the group, WA4LR. All righty. Well, you know, I remember on our Zoom meetings that Doug's collection of jumpers was colorful and festive, and added a little, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Added some flavor to the picture. I miss hearing old Doug on. And Terry, that'd make a great YouTube video. You putting about a dozen eggs in the microwave and firing it up on maximum for about 10 minutes or something. I'm sure that would go viral. You might make some money on that. And Cliff, I was going to ask you if you had the factory modulator for the ARC transmitter, or if you built one. It sounds like you found one. I don't know that I've ever seen the modulator for one, but it'd be interesting to hear it for sure. And I was just looking at some news articles. I see Hamas has called for a worldwide mobilization against Israel on Friday, and a day of rage across the world on Friday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this country tomorrow from those that are standing with the terrorists. So then there's plenty of them in this country. So man, better be on guard probably tomorrow. It's gonna be an interesting day. That's really getting to be a situation, boy, I tell you. We certainly need to be praying. Anyway, not a whole lot going on here, so Jimmy, on over to you, and the mighty LMAC sounds mighty good to me. K4JAL, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, K4JAL. Well, thanks, Dave. Me and you's LMAC men, that's for sure. And so's Cuz. Not a lot going on over here. I used to have one of those side-loaded garage doors, and when one of them broke, it sounded like somebody fired a cannon. And they're very dangerous, so be careful with it. I got a worm drive now. That's the way to go, worm drive. Okay, over to you, Cuz. K4YBC, K4JAL.
K4JAL. Oh, I'm up pretty close. Let me move down a little bit, guys. That's close enough. And, yeah, those garage doors can be dangerous. We had one break over there at the plant I used to work at. There's one of those had the springs on the sides, and I got this bright idea I was going to fix it. And anyway, I got it back together, and then I started to try to wind that spring up, and instead of using 2 half-inch bars like Cliff suggested, I used 2 great big screwdrivers. Well, big mistake. I got that thing pretty tight, and then bam, one of the screwdrivers broke. So they are dangerous. So, Larry, I just suggest that you let the professionals do it, because them things will kill you if you're not careful with them. So, and I was lucky enough. All I got was some busted knuckles out of the deal. So. I was lucky, but I wouldn't fool with them myself. like you guys are saying, they are dangerous, and they can get you. And not much else. Yeah, those old command transmitters back in the day, like Cliff said, they weren't designed for too much audio. That little Harvey Wells rig I had in my little plane, it was about as bad as a command set. You had to about swallow the microphone, and even then, they couldn't hardly hear you. So things have changed through the years, that's for sure. N4LQ, K4YBC.
K4YBC, N4LQ. Yeah, Cuz you're kicking up there. You must be. Are you on the LMAC or the Scout?
I'm on the LMAC. I drive an 813. It's about 175 watts, Steve. Over.
Yeah, your modulation is up over 100% by far. Very loud, and so is Jimmy. Real piercing and loud audio. Your signal faded down a little bit, and it didn't make a bit of difference. That you just about don't need any RF. Command sets. The same guy that sold all those R390s here recently, I bought 75 R390s from him and 200 command sets, and I had all those out here in the garage on shelves. Took pictures of them, put them on the internet. Somebody came from let's see, the R390s went to Florida, 2 trips in a van. The command sets, they all fit in one van, no problem, but the guy came from somewhere around St. Louis, and he was a commercial airline pilot, and he wanted all those command sets, and he said he didn't know why, but he just thought he'd buy them, so he took them all. And I never did fool with him. I mean, I could have, but I had some power supplies here I could have used. I think I still have one power supply somewhere. But they're cute little things. Hams used them for all kinds of things, like VFOs and Q multipliers, and there was just all kinds of plans in the magazines on how to use them for things. But I actually bought one back when I was a kid from Fair Radio and never did anything with it. Anyway, microwave eggs, I do that all the time. You can break a couple of eggs in a little dish or a bowl, and just break them and stir them up. Throw a slab of cheese in there or something, and makes a nice omelet. And it won't go anywhere. You can sometimes put the cover over it just to be sure it doesn't splatter or something, but usually it's not a problem. Now, what would be interesting is just to throw in, the eggs in the shell, put a dozen of them in there, just lay them in there on the Lazy Susan, and throw some cheese in there while you're at it, and just shut the door and get the camera ready and listen to the racket. That'd be fun to do if you had an old microwave you didn't care about to make a video, and yeah, you'd probably get some notoriety on Facebook. I mean on YouTube. And Dave, on that day of rage, boy, I tell you, I didn't think there'd be enough left of Hamas by now to even have a day of rage, because they got bombed up pretty good. But there's more to that organization than just what was there in Palestine. They're all over the place. And I'm sure there's a lot of them here in the United States that Biden has let in so they can cause us trouble. And I don't think it's an accident. Isn't that nice of me? Go ahead, Terry. WD4OUM, N4LQ.
WD4OUM. Well, tomorrow will be the Friday the 13th. You know, that coincides October, Friday the 13th. When was it? 1306. The Templars. Cause you'll remember, Dad blame it, you was around then. But oh well. Yeah, I ain't seen much on that. They was talking about that bunch beheading women, kids, babies. I have to go along with old Leroy. What Leroy said one time when the Gulf War, I remember in 1990, and we we was having trouble out there, so I was working graveyard with them guys, and we went to eat that night. We sitting there talking about the war. Leroy said, I know how to straighten that place out over there. Said, just let them fight it out, you know. Just destroy each other, then just nuke a place. After all is said and done, said that's the only way, you know. Just about agree with him. But oh well. Anyway, putting my eggs in a microwave. Well, about 3, maybe 4 years ago, I had something in the microwave one time, and it went off like a shotgun. Well, I run over there and yanked the door open. Everything was good and everything. So I got whatever it was out and went on and everything. Later on that day, I was in there and I happened to look at the microwave, and my door, you know, the see-through window, it had turned brown. Well, I hunted on the internet trying to find out what to do with it. Anyway, never did do nothing. And right now, it's got 2 small places on it, very small. You know, after all that time, it just decided to go away. And what that was, I ain't got a clue. So there, maybe I should put an egg in it. Oh well, I don't guess you're gonna try it, are you, Larry? WB4NKM, WD4OUM.
WB4NKM. No, I might take Steve's advice and put him in some kind of dish or something. I've done that in a glass, put them in the glass and mix them up like that and have a omelet that they're good that way instead of dirtying the frying pan. I've been frying them lately over easy. And come out pretty good that way. But probably was some kind of mold or something in that microwave, Terry. It went away. I don't know. Well, yesterday we had a good little round table on here. Band conditions was good, and I guess we might have that again. Everybody was commenting on how the season changed and the band got real quiet and nice. Propagation changed too, seems like. But might be just the atmospheric noise went away. But I've enjoyed it. I'm going to make this my last one. Rick, I'm about to starve to death. Terry talking about them eggs in the microwave, so may have to dig in there and see if I can find something to go with them. You fellas have a good day. Looks like rain is on the horizon, and be a good time. I think I will call the man. That's what I'm going to do. Is Jimmy has been the convincing one to convince me to call the man on the garage door. Thank you, Jimmy. WB4NKL, WB4NKM, but I'll be listening.
WB4NKM, here's WB4NKL. Okay, Larry, I'll jump back in later. Looks like I might get time to get out here and work on the command a little bit more. This command, it don't belong to me. It's a friend of mine in Kingsport, Ed Fanton. He's into the military type radios, and I'd fixed up a couple command receivers for him back some time ago, and he brought this over here a while back, and it was been sitting here so long I thought I better start looking at it. But he had the factory modulator. I don't think I'd ever seen the factory modulator. I've seen a lot of the transmitters and a lot of the receivers, and yeah, it's the transmitter, Rick, that matches the ARC 5 receivers. It looks just like them. They all went in a rack with the ARC 5 receiver in the planes. So they, like I say, Steve said, they made a lot of them, and I guess that was Central Electronics. They used one for a VFO. They made a cabinet and everything that ARC 5 transmitter fit in. They used it for a VFO on one of their first sideband transmitters. So it seems to be pretty stable. This one's like I say, the 80-meter version. You can tune it on 3885, and it seems to hold where it's at pretty good. So if they used it for a sideband VFO, I guess it is pretty stable. What I've read, they had a lot of chirp on them on CW. It had a modulated. It's got an oscillator on that modulator chassis where you could have modulated CW, send out a tone CW, whatever they called that. I disabled that part of it. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. Of course, I've got a commercial type Motorola mic I'm going to run on it, but I think he's wanting to run the original carbon mic, so no telling what it'll sound like with a carbon mic. John, JPL, sending me a carbon mic, so I'll have to try that on it too. So go ahead, Rick, WK4R, WB4NKL.
WK4R. Cliff, do you have the rack for all that too, or is it just a standard size rack? I'm just kind of curious. Jimmy the LMAX doing well. I hate to break it to y'all, but there's already a video on YouTube with an egg in the microwave. Just the Skip a Life. They have a lot of information in the beginning, and you have to go to the end to see the results. Pretty dramatic. And as far as Iran, Hamas, and all those, they just need to go make a new lake over there. Just, that would be my opinion. Scary part is how many is over here, like Steve was talking about. I need to go forage for some food. I see what's around here, and I need to cut grass one more time at least. Keep deciding whether to do it this week or next week. Just don't know. Maybe now just a little bit of rain might make it grow more, so we'll see. Everybody have a good day, and I'll try to be here in the morning. I have to take my wife to church for a trip she's going on, so I don't know if I'll be here or not, but we will see. 7-3 and WA4LR, WK4R, clear and listening.
WK4R, WA4LR. Yeah, Rick, thanks for sending that video. That's pretty impressive. Now, we were wanting Terry to put a dozen in the microwave. That guy just put one, and it blew the door open. made a nice display. Can you imagine a dozen in there? Boy, that'd be worth sacrificing an old microwave for to shoot a video of that and let it go viral. Yeah, let's see. Steve, you talking about not knowing how many of those folks are in the country. I was looking at some statistics yesterday, and during the last 2 or 3 years, they know that more than 7 million undocumented aliens have come into the country through the southern border. And of that number, there's 1.5 million they call getaways. In other words, people that have dropped off the radar once they got in the country. Of ones that were apprehended trying to come in, they caught over 36,000 from Afghanistan, and there's just a long list from all of several nations that you would consider terrorists. So, yeah, there's no telling how many tourist cells we've already got in this country. So it could be a bad day if, they decide to do some kind of something like they did in Israel. So, one thing's for sure, we better be praying. Gentlemen, I'm going to bug out on this one as well and go in search of some breakfast before the 9 o'clock net. I've enjoyed it. Everybody's sounding good. Sure is good to hear all the LMAX on. I can't wait till I get down and get my LMAX fired up again, among other rigs. So hopefully it won't be long. 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll catch you in the morning. K4JAL, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, K4JAL. Well, hope you find something good, Dave, and hope you're able to get down to your shack soon. I know you're chomping at the bit, too. Experimenting with microwaves and various food implements. Years ago, in Germany, when microwaves first hit the exchange areas where you went to get gasoline for the military, we tried some experiments in there after drinking a lot of beer. You can put an apple in a microwave and it will stay perfectly cool. You might blow your microwave up, it's like having nothing in there. But if you put an orange in there, Katie, bar the door, it will blow up. Now, I imagine all that was dependent on the frequency of the microwave at the time and skin depth on the various stuff you put in there, but it was quite interesting. I wouldn't try it today, though, so you could try it if you wanted to, cuz. K4YBC, K4JAL.
K4JAL, K4YBC. I think I'll pass on that one. I remember many years ago, we had a microwave, and I don't know what, had a lapse of memory or something, but I had to put a plate in there with a fork laying on the plate, and I don't know why I did that, but anyway. Katie lowered the boom on that microwave because it destroyed it and didn't help my fork out any either, so I try to be careful what I put in the microwave. That's for sure. And as far as these, yeah, we got a lot of tourists here, and trouble is, there's a bunch of them elected congressmen and senators up in Washington, D.C., sorry to say, and they're already blaming the Israelis for what happened. I don't know how they figure that, but you just got to be a dumbass politician, I guess is all I can say. And yes, I look for a lot of tourist activity here in the United States because I think Israel's going to go in there and clean house. And they're going to be, like I said, little tourist cells all over the United States trying to get in on the action. And of course, that idiot we got as a president, he'll go along with the tourists probably. Oh well, I won't get on my soapbox and all that good stuff. I'm just say 7-3, gentlemen. I need to get out of here and get some things done. Everybody's sounding good. Great signals this morning. I turned the audio down just a little bit, Steve. I just wonder if that might have made backed it off a little bit. So maybe I was hitting it too hard. 7-3s, everybody. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow. N4LQ to take it, K4YBC, clear.
Yeah, you sound good, a little bit better even. So yeah, let's leave it like it is. I'm going to get off here too, and everything you said was well said there, because I'm going to get off here and get ready for the next net, 3715. 73s, and over to Terry, WD4OUM, M4LQ.
Oh, well. Hey, Cliff, would you say I'm ready for them fellers? Oh, matter of fact, I'm going out to range here directly. But anyway, maybe I'll print me out some faces and put on my target or something. But if I did, it'd be politicians. It wouldn't be none of them foreigners. So there you go. WB4NKL, WD4OUM.
And WB4 or WD4OUM, it's WB4NKL. Yeah, they were showing a lot of these kids on these college campuses taking up for Hamas and, you know, having demonstrations. And I just can't see it. People that come in there and cut babies' heads off and all that kind of junk. Anybody could even think about taking up for them. It's beyond me. I guess I'll jump off to here too and retune for the old friends. Say 73s. I think Rick got out. I don't know who's left. Might just be you, Terry, or Jimmy maybe. Whoever's next, go ahead. Catch you all later. It's WB4NKL.
That's K4JAL, and I'm going over to the old friends, my own self. 7-3, everybody. I guess it's up to you, Terry. WD4OUM, K4JAL, 7-3.
You mean you can actually retune that rig? Anyway, you fellas have a good one. WD4OUM.